Hey, welcome back to Surviving Mars, my friends. My name is Tobal. So this episode, I'm going to start getting crazy focused on this game. We need to get some things going. We're on Sol 117, which for this playthrough, I think, is a long run. Now, a lot of this has been between episodes, mostly just letting the game run, trying to catch up to whatever I was trying to do, but I believe it is time to take a real hard look at our colony and figure out what needs to become a priority and how we need to get there. So number one, we're really struggling with water. And to be fair, we are producing or demanding a ton of water right now, partially because things like the open farm. We don't need the open farm. We absolutely don't. It's awesome to have, and I'm glad I started doing it, but right at this very moment, we do not need the farm because we have a lot of water in the air. What we need to really focus on is getting that atmosphere up. We need to start terraforming the environment so that we can have sustainable water. Now, to get sustainable water, we have to reach the 40% atmosphere, 40% temperature, and 10% water. So we're actually fine on water. And I think we might have wanted to start on atmosphere a long time ago, but we are going to have to endure some growing pains with toxic rains once we start getting a little bit more atmosphere. So we need to focus on, number one, if we're talking about terraforming, we need to get that atmosphere going, number one. That's going to be accessed by the carbonate processor technology here under the terraforming tree. That also, what else is going to do that? There's a couple things here that would do the same thing. The magnetic field generator will decrease the loss of atmosphere that we would get. Just we have no atmosphere. There's no magnetic field, or like the ozone layer or anything like that around Earth. Or sorry, not the ozone layer. There's no magnetic field like Earth has to prevent the loss of atmosphere. So however much atmosphere we're pumping into the planet, we're going to be losing a certain amount. So this would help reduce the amount that we lose and then thus make it more atmosphere building up over time. So that is a priority number one. Yes, that is one of the priorities, one of the many. The second thing is we are eventually going to run out of water because we only have certain amounts of water in our active deposits. Now I've got 2 water extractors working on one site, and I think what I might even do, how much is this going to hurt us if I take this down? Quite a bit. So I might going to take down the second extractor and work on replacing the one I just took down because I don't want to deplete any one site too fast. I want to give myself as much time as possible. So I'm trying to only use, over here, like for example, only 1 extractor per resource. In fact, I'm actually really short on my lovely power because we have amplified. Not only do we have normal extractors, we also have them amplified, which increases their electric consumption. So I have to get some more wind generators over here to help out with this area. All right, so water can be improved in a couple ways. Number one, we talked about that before. The water situation can be handled by having a good fresh rain falling in our area. I believe that gives you accessible drinking water. Or we can find deep water wells. There are deep resources available in the game. Like, for example, I think we had a scan at some point that revealed this. It's a deep metals resource. Now, to get to this, you have to unlock new technology, which will be under the physics tree. So we have to first get deep scanning, which is going to let us rescan any existing scanned sector. So we can rescan all of these sectors again to try to find deep water or deep metals, right? So that's going to be one of the steps that we can take to work towards getting more water production. But in the meantime, I think what I'm going to do, because it's going to be a little bit easier, I'm actually going to kill a couple resources here. Researches, rather. We're going to go into the biotech tree pretty hardcore, because what I want to do is unlock the water vaporators. We don't have any water vaporators out, and we don't have the technology to build them on our own. So I need to get the moisture farming option available, and then I can start putting down more moisture vaporators. That's going to help us, hopefully even with their with like an amplified effect, get more water from the atmosphere. Right, so that's the number one and number two problems. The problem with water and the problem with our atmosphere and the terraforming progress. Now, I've got our people spread around doing a lot of different things, and it is important to have things like the rare metals extractor on board and whatnot, because that's going to help us get our resources over time. You know what? Before we finish this, I actually want to cancel the fusion reactor because I didn't think about it ahead of time. The positioning is going to be awkward. If I wind up moving people over to the new dome, this dome is going to wind up getting moved. I want to actually have maybe 3 domes down here eventually, and I know I'm getting really hyper focused on the big size domes, so I'm going to try to avoid going absolutely bonkers when it comes to these big huge domes. But speaking of domes, I was reminded by Snafu in the comments here to take a look at another viable dome structure, the Mega Trigon. Not only with the Mega technology do we get the Mega Dome, we also got the Mega Trigon. Now, it's a little bit smaller in terms of overall space, but look at that area of effect. It's actually touching all 4 of our research sites, which is going to be an increase of science by 65%. So that's going to be absolutely huge. So this is going to turn into our lovely learning and science Trigon dome of awesomeness down the road. So that's going to take a lot of resources, though, to get going. So we'll have to put a lot of resources in this general area. Obviously, we've got tons of concrete. That's not really a problem, but we will have to relocate a good bit of metal. Whew, right. Are you with me so far? Excellent. Let's take a look at our ships here. What do we have? We've got Spirit of Man 1, which is ready to go home. You've got 10 resources. You've got 9. And there's pretty much nothing else to load. So, you know what? Let's send these bad boys home. We need to get some money back in order to go out and ship us some electronics. We are really short on electronics. And honestly, for the moment, since we're actively trading in polymers, I should be able to make the electronics factory a 3rd shift. So we really need to crank out our electronics to catch up to what we're using. I don't want any of my precious buildings down here to go dead, like, for example, the drone hub. It's going to need electronics at some point. So we need to have electronics nice and spread around. Right. Well, what else? What other emergency is happening? We got some buildings not working. Our population is spread across my crazy amount of barrel domes. And I would love, love, love to get these guys all consolidated into one dome. And I was thinking about this. And I don't want to split my resources too hardcore. Like, we're going to have, obviously, we're building a Mega Trigon dome over here. This is only going to fit a certain amount of people. We have to not only put down the living population or the living buildings, we have to put down supporting farms, we'll have to put down supporting services, and then we'll put down the Hawking Institute, wherever that can wind up fitting. So that is going to be our research dome. This is going to be nothing but research, and anything that needs, you need to keep those people nice, sane, and happy. And pretty much from there, I honestly think I can consolidate everyone else into a massive mega dome somewhere relatively close by. The only problem is I'm not entirely sure how people can move between domes if you put like a mega dome far away. Are we going to have to shuttle people 3 at a time from dome to dome? Will I have to close off, each dome individually and then shuffle people around? That might be the case. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I think having more people in one dome with all of those, buildings that are inside the dome, the manufacturing centers, the engineers, things like that, that's going to improve our overall performance. Because right now we've got people split all over the place. We've got people who don't work and live in the same dome and they're grumpy, and some buildings just aren't working. So I'm going to hopefully try to put a lot of people in the same dome. And as we get more and more people on Mars, I'm going to continually expand those mega domes, but I want them to really start cranking out our special parts, our advanced parts here. If we take a look at another colony, our competitors here, look at the resources that all of these guys have. 231 polymers. Well, actually, that's a little bit funky. 10, 10, 48. Okay, maybe I was a little bit ahead of the curve when I thought our competition was doing a little bit better. 1,000 food. I guess maybe they aren't doing quite as good as I thought they were. 48 people, and 253. So we're ahead of the game on people. The problem is our output of special parts and whatnot is kind of below standard. What I think should be below standard, or what is below standard. So, to remedy this, I'm going to focus on getting this Trigon dome up, and I think I'm going to put down a mega dome right here. It is relatively close by, and we're also going to be in range of a Vista, as well as this, what would this called? Sorry, this is the rare metals deposit here. So I'm going to put down another rare metals deposit. Side note, how far can a passage extend? Because I could connect a passage between these guys. I can't even test it out because everything's in the way. Really? You're not even going to let me test anything? Okay, let's see if we can test on a normal spot. So how far would you normally reach? Oh, that's actually super far, right? That should definitely reach between these.
A colonist has died.
Oh god, do we have someone commit suicide? Oh no, I don't think I saw low sanity before. Oh, that's crazy. I don't remember them having that problem. Oh lord, do we not have a medical facility? We totally don't have a medical facility down here. Oh my friend, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that was the only way you saw to carry on. That is super sad. I would blatantly throw down an infirmary, but his action woke me up to the needs of our colonists. So I will definitely be paying more attention to that. Right, so back to this megadome. So I think the megadome here, we would be able to service this rare metals extractor because it is... Oh, we are just outside. Too far from working drone commander. Okay, so this is actually still inside. We're still in range of the megadome itself. Required resource, so it has to be pretty much like on the nose like that. That's fine. And I believe we can kind of play with the positioning of the megadome here just a tiny bit as well. And I will rotate the entrances so they're a little bit closer to that extractor here. So this is my proposed new location for a megadome. Now, we have a lot of metal and we have a lot of concrete. That should not be a problem. So in order to try to expedite the crafting process, I'm going to put down a metals deposit and a concrete deposit, as well as trying to stockpile 100 polymer. Now, polymer may sound really expensive, but remember, we are doing our trades right now. We're actively trading concrete to get more polymer, so that really shouldn't be a long-term problem. Right, what else is going on? We need to move some of this crap out of the way. You know what? You're going to probably eventually be a place where I will be putting a dome, so I don't want to kill this spot with the large dumping things here. Let me put these down, maybe tucked in a corner somewhere. God, there's not even any room. Well, crap, there really isn't any room. I want to put down another trade thing here. We'll put it down right here for the moment. I know that kind of sucks, but that's life, and it shouldn't block the research site. I want to put down a new landing pad or a new trade hub right here, because this is where we've got a lot of new concrete. So a lot of my trading is going to be taking place up here, where all of the concrete actually exists. Also, one thing that I've not been using much of is my lovely RC transport. I'm going to start making use of this bad boy in the form of bringing a crap ton of concrete over to our new proposed locations. We need concrete here at the Mega Trigon. We need concrete over at the other Megadome as well. So huge, massive amounts of projects going on. We're going to have lots of research focus or refocused. So low G fungi, utility crops, dome bioscaping, all with the goal of trying to unlock vaporators from the queue. That's my entire goal right now, is to get vaporators unlocked so they can supplement our water production needs, and we don't have to go through all of our water resources quite as quickly. We need to just buy ourselves a little bit of time. We are now in full swing. I've decided to go ahead and trim down a lot of our other drone hubs, and they're just going to have to suck it up. I know a lot of drones are going to be probably on medium or heavy loads for a bit as they're transferring things around, but I've decided to put all the drones pretty much focused on the Megadome here, as well as our Mega Trigon dome on this side too. That is a lot of split building, I know, but I want to get these up as soon as I can. Now, to be fair, we're not really ready for the Martian Institute of Science. I'm not really sure if I'm going to have them completely wait for that research to be done, or if we're going to go ahead and just throw down the research centers as per normal. I might go ahead and bump up my Martian Institute of Science, because all we're trying to do right now is just go down the tree. So going down the tree could be who knows how long, and if it's going to be something that involves research, then why not go ahead and upgrade to the best type of research facility there is. So we will try to get the special Martian research facility unlocked. That's going to go into our new Mega Trigon. Again, we're going to be putting in services, residential, and the research centers. Nothing but the bare bones. All we're trying to do is get the maximum research boost possible. What is our actual staff of scientists? I've really not looked at who's here. We should actually take a look at that, shall we? Let's do that. Let's get to know our lovely colonists who I've been ignoring for so very long. I don't want by dome. I kind of want an overall look at my people. Can I not see the actual specific jobs? Oh, maybe not. Building domes colonists. We do have a list of domes here, which shows us what the average, how many jobs and whatnot are there. We have, what's the lowest dome with bad sanity? 81, 88. That's not too terrible. This is actually kind of cool. We can just hover over the dome and it tells us all the information. That's actually pretty nice. All the domes look like they are producing babies, except for Ptah 1. You guys have... It's mostly just telling us the basics, not necessarily the jobs. Children born. Let's take a look at that. 2, 23, 35 at Atom. So a lot of these domes have been pumping out kids left and right, which is lovely. 15 disabled work slots. I also probably need to come back and take a look at what some of our domes have in terms of, actual working buildings. So I'm sure I've got some things disabled. Oh, probably that's what it is by working slots. I've actually disabled quite a few. Yes, I will happily take more of your lovely, lovely polymer. Keep it coming, because at this point I pretty much shut off all of our polymer production. So all those people have been reassigned and shoved into the electronics factory. They are finally catching up to electronics. I am also sending an electronics payload from Earth with the money that I just had from our extraction. So that's a big deal as well. We're also trying to do this Port Vesta trade rocket because I do want to focus on our special overall story. I don't really know what the heck happens at the end of it, but I think it's going to be important to keep pushing on with that. So that's where we are right now. Eventually, I hope we're going to get a lot of reduction in all these penalties and complaints about people working and living in different buildings. Hey, can we make the electronics, yes, machine parts, yes, and polymer, yes. We don't need to have the prefabs for these bad boys. So we should be able to put any of our factories and things around this dome, which is lovely. I'm probably gonna have to put down 3 farms inside. I'm trying to think of how much food we're gonna need. We're roughly at about 4 farms. No, actually, these domes have farms too, don't they? You have your own individual farm up here. I actually might be overfeeding a little bit, but I'd rather be higher on food than lower, right? So we're probably going to want to dedicate at least... God, do we want to try all 6 of the central tiles as food? Or is that a bit too much? Maybe 3 for now. We'll have to see. We also may get the technology of super fungus or something? What it does is it uses more oxygen production, but it produces a lot more food, and it's grown at the outdoor fungal farm here, and it's a super breakthrough. It's a breakthrough that you should be able to get relatively early on. So we also have not been doing much but breakthroughs at all, but I don't know. This one helps us with the Beyond Earth Initiative project. Refocus your research towards a new project. I don't actually know what that does. Dome concrete cost. Oh, maybe this will, if we do this, maybe it resets whatever this is. Because right now we're waiting to do electronics. Maybe I could have done the research and changed it around, but that's a waste of research, I think. That's a lot of research to dump down kind of a rabbit hole. Good news, everyone! We're almost done with our first Mega Trigon. Look how close we are. We actually got all the concrete, almost all the metal, and polymer. So this Mega Trigon should be done relatively soon. We are just about halfway through the Martian Institute of Science. So hopefully by the time I get this Trigon dome up and we get, some farms down, we get the residential areas down, this hopefully will be ready for our new and improved scientists to start moving in. So that's going to be a big deal. I do believe I'm going to try the relocation at the same time if I can. This building's going to be relatively simple. Oh god, we're low on everything. We got really low on polymers, but we are trading. So we should be able to restock those pretty quickly. Oof, I need to be really careful about that. Hang on, how are we doing? 65 out of 100. 49 out of 60. So we're going to eat through those polymers really, really quick. You know what I'm going to have to do? Is turn on the polymer factory again and kill that last shift. We just got hit with something. Twister going right through the middle. Dang it, that sucks. We are going to have to send a RC commander out that way. And the RC commander, sadly, has no drones under its control because I removed all of said drones. Abandoned them even. So I'll have to give it just a couple. One cool thing I really haven't been paying attention to. You can completely pull drones, or sorry, rename, for the purpose of pulling drones and adding drones to different areas. You can totally rename anything you want. I've really not been doing any renaming. And I probably should, especially once we start having more targeted domes. Like I could put down, this is the Science Trigon, for example. Or this is, I don't know, Mega Alpha for the moment until we figure out what a real name would be. And what I've done was to rename some of the drone hubs so that I know that this is my Trigon drone hub. So when I look at the transportation list, I can say, oh yeah, I need to subtract a bunch of drones from X, Y, and Z and add them over to, Trigon or Mega. So that helped me get myself a bit more organized. Also, speaking of getting organized, let's grab an RC transport. I want to start doing some loads of concrete to and from the plateau here over to our normal residential area. our other collection because we need way more concrete for the new Mega Alpha Dome. We have the metals, we have the polymer, we're just hardcore lacking the other stuff, so the concrete. So we'll move that concrete over. We are leaking oxygen and water, that's fine, that's what we got lovely tanks for, I hope. Yeah, we actually have full tanks for once, that's nice. I'm so excited to try to relocate. Like, I just want to clean things up, get way more consolidated, and just try to get my people way super focused on, you know, mass production. What I also might do, on top of everything else, is drop down a kind of a medium dome right outside once everything's said and done, or even a small dome. And in what somebody suggested, I believe it was, oh shoot, sorry, the name escapes me right now. The same person that I mentioned that suggested the Trigon dome, they mentioned to put down a birthing dome to focus on getting a dome with extremely high services, with extremely high medical centers, and that way people are highly encouraged to go have babies in that dome. And you can, in fact, filter people out of a certain dome. So we could, for example, exclude any seniors from living in one of the domes. So that would prevent any reusable areas by potential married couples who want to have a child. We could kind of prevent any seniors from taking up space. So that would be very, very handy. So that's going to be very useful once we get there. I don't really want to do it right now with any other domes. I'm not really prepared to set aside a senior living assisted community yet, but it is something that we'll be using in the future. Bless the Martian USA. We are getting tons and tons of polymer from them. That's pretty much all we're waiting on right now. We've got 10 polymer needed at the Science Trigon. We've got about 10 more polymers needed at the Mega Alpha Dome here. We need tons of concrete, but that was mostly a problem with not having my deliveries come through. So our RC transport, actually, we have how much here? 100 concrete right now. So that's, we still need another couple shipments of concrete to make sure that our lovely Mega Alpha Dome gets finished up. So we're getting there. We're really getting close to having both of these domes up. Now, as soon as the big dome comes up, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time making the same buildings over and over again. We're going to have to put down a new electronics factory, machine parts factory, polymer factory, as well, of course, as all the living, all the food, and things like that. So, and also, I was kind of thinking about the numbers. We're more than likely, we talked about having a birth service dome. We're more than likely going to have a dome that deals with just services as well. So not only just a dome that focuses on make people happy so they have babies, we also want to have a dome, much like we had this this dome here, our Kosijo 1. We should call this the Fun Dome. The Thunder Dome. Oh my god. God, I wish that was live streaming. The Thunder Dome is too good to miss. If you're here, I appreciate you. Enjoy that pun. But yeah, we'll have to, we'll put a service dome in here in the middle. We'll put a birthing dome off to the side. So we want to take the stress away from the Mega Dome once it's up and running. We don't want it to have to fill, you know, every single niche, but we do want to have a lot of the jobs here. Now, thankfully, all of the research jobs will be moved away. But again, we're going to have to need things like the university. We need to have the school down. We need to take care of all these different things that I've really not been focusing on for some time. The bar can only hold so many people in it, the space bar, for example. So we need to make sure that we have enough people meeting their needs from, you know, alcohol and things like that. So it's going to be pretty chaotic for a little while. Also, what did I want? I wanted to check out. Did I have a school somewhere and did I tear it down a while ago? I did. I tore down the school because I think it needed electronics and I didn't have them at the time. I've denied children everywhere the chance to learn simply because we did not have the resources. That's fine. That's fine. So we are almost at the Trigon. We are almost-ish at the Mega Alpha. We are 89% of the way through the Martian Institute of Science. Great timing. I also unlocked moisture farming, so we do have the evaporators coming. We're this close. I'm making tiny little movements on my fingers, but we're this close to getting somewhat more sustainable than we have been coming up soon. Hooray, we've got our Trigon Dome down. So let's take a look. We should be able to put down a spire in the middle. Lovely. Ooh, hey, water reclamation system. Recycles up to 70% of the water used in the dome. God, that's really tempting for the big dome. 70% of the water used, especially when we have so many problems right now with water. I might have to do that for the mega domes. I mean, it's either 32 people living here or 70% of the water recycled. That's a huge amount of recycling going on. And water is our most critical item right now. Okay, you know what? Here, let's do some science. Let's look up some numbers. How much water are we actually using? We're consuming 3.4, 2.6. That's not terrible, right? So really our water consumption is mostly coming from the rest of our equipment. The fuel production, things like that. What else is using all of our fuel? Sorry, our water. Can I get a breakdown somehow of what resources are being, those are two separate grids. Production consumption, I can't really see. I can probably only see how much we're using and consuming. What would be using up everything that we have? We're not doing farms. Oh, the farms are using some. 1.6, that's still not that bad though. 3, right? So like 4, 7, 10, 11, 14 there. I mean, okay, so all those domes added up over time probably does hurt. And so then maybe if we have a bunch of farms in one dome, like right here in our Mega Alpha Dome, we'll put the water reclamator there. But for here, we'll put down the Arcology Spire. That sounds like a good plan to me. Meanwhile, we're going to have to put down some even more residences, I think. 32? You know what? Maybe not. It really depends on how crazy this dome gets. We are going to need to have living quarters for all of the doctors, all of the researchers, all of their supporting people who are going to feed them and whatnot like that. So let's put down a couple of those items. Let's put down a couple of farms. So we are going to try to supplement the food growth in this dome through itself. 3 farms may or may not do it. Did we get our technology done? Not quite yet, I don't think. We need to go ahead and start scanning again. Let's finish off this entire side. Hey, there's the Martian Institute of Science. God, great timing. Let's take a look at how big this is. Martian Institute of Science is going to hurt a bit. I think it's a bigger size. Yeah, it is going to be a big size. How many people does this house? 24, 8 people per shift. That's a lot of workers. So, I mean, we really don't need to go super duper ham. We could fit 3. Wait, what the heck? What's happening with my triangles? Yeah, we could fit 3. So 3 of these would be, I think, more than enough to do our research for quite some time. So for the moment, probably just 1 is what we want to focus on, 1 at a time, until we get everything nice and balanced. So we pretty much get 1 research center down. We get the people for it, we get the services required, and then we'll know what to double when the time comes. But yeah, that's pretty much what houses all of our workers right now. Maybe I don't need to go all that crazy with the living complexes, but hey, it's only concrete and a little bit of electricity, so that's not a big deal. We also probably won't need this many farms either. So let's remove 1 of those. And I will go ahead and preemptively, because it's not all that terribly expensive, we will put down some of the basic services. So things like the space bar, we can put down things like the grocer. There's lots of nice little small spots here, like 3x3s. So a grocer in here. Of course, we're going to throw an infirmary so we don't have any more suicides. Our poor friend whose name escapes me right now, sadly. So the grocer's taken care of. An open-air gym would be lovely, maybe down here in the corner. And, we're going to be having people have babies here, too. So we want to make sure that we have a school, a nursery, and things like that. Yeah, look how much space these are starting to take up over time. So they are going to be eating away at your precious resources in your space. So that's something to keep in mind. Right, so for the moment, I'll keep it as it is. I think I'll go ahead and remove the school. We're not going to go crazy just yet. Playground's pretty cheap. Everything else, spacebar, concrete. The only thing that's really going to hurt is the Hawking Institute. But once that comes online, I will connect it with the rest of our grid. And we should be ready to go. Another quick update here while we got a moment. We are about to pass the 30% mark for temperature on Mars. Do we have anything coming up? Any kind of special terraforming event that's just related to temperature and water? Sustainable bushes apparently are coming up at 30 temperature, 20 water. So we're not quite there on the water side. I don't think there's anything else other than maybe cold waves ending at 50% temperature. So we have a ways to go in terms of that. But yeah, we're about to get the Mega Alpha Dome down. Now I'm going to put down some domes. I'm not going to focus on building these yet. I mostly want to use it for planning. Now the question is, do we need to have medium-sized domes for all of the special things that I was talking about? Or can we go ahead and just do something like a normal medium, or sorry, a basic? Do we need to do medium? Do we need to do basic here? So if we're talking about, say, the service dome, we're talking about things like at least another gym, bar, grocer, probably stores down the road. That's moving into mid to late game. And you know what? I did look up online. Where is mid game? Because I really didn't know where mid game is in Surviving Mars. We're actually at about mid game. 100 souls or more is roughly mid game. So we're not terribly far off the mark. I just think I'm less optimized than perhaps I could be. So I feel a little bit better after looking that up. So I'm thinking something like this. We've got a medium dome off to the side. Now, I don't know about spacing. I think we could fit 2 in here. Yeah, we should be able to fit 2. Oh man, we're just shy. Seriously? Oh, that's painful. Oh, that hurts me inside a bit. Okay, right there. There's 2 domes tucked into each other, nice and nestled closely. So one of them could be the I'm going to get pregnant dome, and one of them could be I'm going to have the services dome. And all 3 of them can be connected to each other, so everyone's able to move back and forth as needed. And I think that might not be a bad idea. We have a mega dome that's just, our housing, our farming. Most everyone's going to be living there. And then anyone who's primarily trying to have a child will be in a separate dome that's going to have a separate arc, which is going to have not the arc, but the spire, which is going to be the medical center spire. That's going to be all focused on school, nursery, things like that. I guess we could put a university there too if we're talking about education. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then a dome dedicated to services in general. And I really think that having a medium dome, if we could fit it here, and we've got the resources for the medium dome, I think it'd be a good idea to put 2 down. I really do. And we could all fit them in the same relative area. I think I'd be pretty happy with that. 3 large domes, all nice and nestled together, or 1 mega dome and 2, medium ones. All is going to work out pretty well, I think. Cool. Our food's starting to cut back a little bit. We are a little bit lower on food. What's happening with the food? We're not short on people. Are we just hitting a bad harvest? We're all about to get potatoes. I think potatoes were the big harvest of the year. So maybe that wasn't quite ready. Hey, our Hawking Institute is done. That's amazing. Look at that. God, look how many scientists this can hold. So the question becomes, how the heck am I going to get everyone over here? That is indeed the concern. I kind of took some drones away from my Trigon. I think I need to keep those drones up, because we are still in need of building the rest of the Trigon dome out. Okay, cool. So you should be able to help that. We do have to connect you into the power grid and connect in water and whatnot, so we'll have to get that taken care of relatively soon too. I'm going to have to find a way to start moving people. I guess I could just close down the research labs and say I don't want anyone who has the scientist specialization to live in any domes. That's what we could do. And I think according to the tooltip, colonists that don't match the filter will try to resettle in another dome. And I believe they will take the shuttle if needed. Now, the problem is I don't know if they have to be near the shuttle hub or if they can just take it from anywhere. Oh, no. Reed Goddenberry has passed away. It doesn't look like it's going to affect that overall storyline much. So here's to hoping we can keep powering on with what we're doing. Hey, how are you guys performing? Since we're going to be doing more moisture evaporators, hygroscopic coating would be a 50% production at a cost of 2 polymer. Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's add hygroscopic to both of these. This will give us a good idea of how we're going to be doing performance-wise with all of these moisture evaporators in the air, on the ground. Because if we have a ton of them and they're all boosted to all, hell and high water, if we're getting 2 from each of them, and they only need metal, which is always a little bit of all the resources we have out there, it's a little bit easier to get metal for, repairing buildings than anything else. So we have more deposits. We've never really touched metals all that much. We've got metal deposits up the wazoo over here. So that's not going to be too hard to get to. What are you? You're my little explorer just kind of chilling out here because we have nowhere to look. That's fine. All right, so by now, our Mega Dome should be close to being finished. Yeah, 271. So I'll speed this up again, and we're almost at that point. But I think this episode, we were able to get back on task. I am still working towards eventually, towards the carbonate processor. I think I'm going to jump on that pretty hardcore if I can, coming up. Once we start getting the research going, again, we're going to be boosting, and we should take a look real quick before we do anything. We're getting about 1K. No, we want to find out what we're doing here per day. We're getting 482 during the day from all of our research buildings. So that's going to be the number, the benchmark, right? And we're going to see how good our lovely new Hawking Institute does once everything is in place. So I think that's a good point to put a cut in. I apologize if this has been a rather long, kind of long-winded episode of just planning things out. Received. It might actually wind up being a little bit short, but that's okay. We will progress and move on. Why? 188 during the day. Do we have a massive hidden secret field of something? Why did I just lose and gain a ton of power? Did everything just go down? I get so confused
Resources are low.
with the way things go sometimes. That's okay, though. I will power through. We also still have that lovely super fusion reactor that we can put down, that I will put down once we have the mega dome in place, because that's where the mega dome is going to have all of our population. So a lot of these big buildings with lots of people, I will be focusing on. Oh shoot, we don't have any concrete here. That's why they're not doing this. All right, I'll move concrete over and get that taken care of. But yeah, we'll be putting our fusion reactor down, hopefully all 3 shifts. That way we can really start consolidating our power as well as everything else. So thank you, my friends. More to come on the next episode of Surviving Mars. Till then, take care.